What is a resource group in the Microsoft Azure? When you are spinning up any of the services in the Microsoft Azure, it should be part of a resource group. This is similar to a project in the GCP, but it has some differences. In GCP, projects are part of the hierarchy of the data structure. It has in the GCP, we went through the tenant as an organization, and within that we have folders. It can have the hierarchy of the folders, and each folder can have the project and inside dataset and the tables. But in the Resource Azure, this is part of the Microsoft subscription itself. So under the subscription, you can have multiple resource groups. And also in the GCP, we went through that you can have a single billing account which can link with many of the projects. But here, all of your resource group will be. Okay, so probably in some future videos, we can see the detailed differences between the resource groups in the Microsoft Azure with the projects in the BigQuery. But for now, let's understand or keep some of the points in mind when you are creating some resources in the Microsoft Azure. So number one is the container. It's a logical container. It doesn't have to be in any specific way of grouping, so it's up to you. And this is what we are mentioning the second point, as it depends on how you want to manage. Probably you want to group all the web applications group, and you can have all your databases in a separate resource groups. Or within the organization, if you want to manage the specific domains of your different entities within the same organization, wise needed resources, so you can have it's up to you that how you want to manage the resources. So it doesn't have any hard and fast rule. And the next one is all the resources within the same resource group will have the same life cycle. This means there are ways that you can deploy, update and delete the resource groups. So if you are doing any of these activities, then it will affect all the resources within the resource group. And next is, so if you manage your web application separately in a different resource group and the databases in the another group, then it is possible that your web application can access the database of a different resource. And also and the next one is a single resource can be part of a single resource group, because as we saw in the previous point, in the point number 3, that it will have the same life cycle. So it doesn't make sense to have a single resource in a different resource group, so it is not allowed. So any of the activity which you are performing in that specific resource group will affect all the resources in that group. If you are deleting a group, all the resources residing in the resource group will be deleted. So it should be part of a single group. And there is no location constraint. So this means when you are creating a resource group, you can mention where you want to keep this resource group to be in a specific location. But when you are assigning any of the resources from the Microsoft Azure, then you can opt for a different location for that specific service within the resource group. So it is possible to have the location differences among the services in the resource. The limitations of the instances within the one specific resource group. You can currently, as of now, Microsoft says that you can have 800 instances of a specific resource type in a specific exceptions for this number. And the next one is the creation method. You can create a resource group directly in the portal or the CLI commands or the PowerShell scripts. And also we can have the ARM templates. It's a programmatic way of defining all your the resource group creations. So it will be very handy to deploy or update or any specific actions to be taken in that resource group. I'm in the Microsoft Azure homepage or the portal. Here we have the resource group here. So I can create directly from this way, or I'm clicking the resource group, then I can click create. So it will ask for just a name. By default, you'll have your subscription will be selected. Then I'm giving name test, and you can leave the region of the resource group. So it's very simple, straightforward, since as I mentioned, it's a logical grouping. It is just creating a name in a specific location. And when you are creating many of the resources, you have the facility to mention the tags for a logical grouping. This is just for an identification to organize them. So this is case insensitive and this is case sensitive, the name and the value. And next you can click next, and you can just create. So every time when you are creating any resource, it will validate. If everything is fine, it will allow you to create the resources. So it's even, you can consider this as a way that you have just created the resource group now. Then you can click that resource group, and within that you can manage this. So in this way you can have the activity, or you can have the cost management separately, creating a budget for this specific resource group. And if you want to monitor the activities of this resource group, because this is the grouping of those resources, correct? So you will be interested in monitoring those resources, looking for the activity logs and all those details you can manage through the resource group which we have created here. So the another way to create the resource group is by when you are creating a specific resource. For example, let me create a SQL database, and similar to this one, when you are creating any of the services of the Microsoft Azure, then I'm clicking create. Yeah, so here it asks for a specific resource group here. So you have to give a resource group before you are proceeding with other informations. So you can choose from what you have currently, or you can create new, click create new to give a different name. Okay, it's 2. So this is also an easy way of creating a resource group when you are progressing spinning up a specific resource in the Microsoft Azure. So either of these way you can create the resource group. So I think we went through the definition of a resource group and what is the purpose of it, and some characteristics of the resource group.